have victory. We will rise, we will stand and fight. We are free. We are free. Fight.
From the forges to the fields of gold, from the rivers to the northern cold, our hearts are bound, our flames the same. Haskaria,
Eternal name. Let the banners blaze, let the guild bells ring. Every hand and heart to the realm we bring. Through trial, toil, and sacred flame, we rise united, one and the same. This is who we are Haskaria. We hold our liberty, we are free. We have victory, we will rise, we will stand and fight. We are free, we are free.
Welcome, everyone, to another Micronational Interview. I am Phoenix Emperor Vincent von Paulos, and today we have...
Princess Willow of Aspenia.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, nice to be here.
So, why don't you really quick introduce some more about yourself and about Aspenia?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Willow. And obviously, Aspenia is a micronation in rural Newfoundland. We have a population of 24, although our population is very seasonal, so we only have people living there in the summer because it gets too cold in the winter to live in our cabins. We have a power grid and a semi-constitutional monarchy and a president that is elected by the citizens to represent their interests to the crown.
Very nice. So, Aspenia's official history notes its founding in November 18th, right?
No, you might have the wrong Aspenia. There are two.
All right,
No
so
worries.
Aspenia was founded on the 2nd of July, 2024 by Princess Willow and later merged with Siku Fields. Could you walk us through the founding story, what inspired you to create Aspenia, and how did it evolve to become the joint kingdom it is today?
Yeah, of course. So, for the past 15 years, my parents have been trying to acquire crown lands that's necessary for their business. Um, and because of certain like bureaucratic tendencies in Newfoundland, it's very hard to acquire this specific piece of land because the original owner of it died in World War One, and he had no heirs. So they couldn't go to anyone, and instead of repossessing it, the government put it in some sort of legal limbo where
Hmm.
no one can own it. Um, and I had recently learned about micronationalism. I had experimented the previous year in 2023 with making a field that's within Aspenia, a micronation just for fun, right? And I figured that I could like widen the scale to make it the whole property, because that just seemed like an easier way of getting the lands than going through all of the court and squatters' rights and all that. So that was the founding. It was originally meant to be a republic, but my mom wanted to be the queen, so it's a kingdom.
Very nice. I was going to have an add-on question to that, but I forgot it, so we'll move on.
It's all right.
So do you serve as the current monarch? Are you the like head of the current micronation?
Nope. So Aspenia technically has three heads of state, but it's more like one. So there's the king and the queen, and they hold equal power because neither of them are descended from like the first queen and king, because they are the first queen and king.
Yeah.
Um, so in future, the spouse of the heir who becomes the monarch will be like inferior, maybe. It's up to determination.
Okay.
Um, and there's the president who is elected by the civilians to represent the civilians' interests to the monarchy.
Okay.
Um, so I am the princess. So I don't really hold any power. I can't do royal decrees or anything. I can propose bills, but that's it. So I have uh, about equal power to the president. So the reason why I'm running the YouTube channel and the Instagram and on Discord and everything is because I am the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So I manage Aspenia's like for like diplomacy and all that, and I'm like the figurehead, the public figure and
Okay.
stuff. While my parents do like everything else.
Very nice. I wish I had someone to do all that stuff. It gets hard to try and juggle everything by yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My mom's like the boss of my dad, so this where there's only really one monarch.
That's usually how it is in life.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked about it being a semi-constitutional monarchy. What does the balance look like in practice? We talked about the monarchy and the president. What are the constitutional limits, and how would you describe the personal leadership approach currently?
So, there aren't many limits really. There always has to be a president. That's a rule. But a lot of the limits on the government are more limited against the president to prevent the president from being able to like take too much power.
Okay.
It's almost like an absolute monarchy. We do have laws, so you can't just arrest somebody because you have to arrest them because they broke a law in the Constitution. So like habeas corpus, right?
Right.
And we follow like basic human rights and all that. Um, so that's like kind of like the limitations of the government. Also, we have to follow Canadian law because, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
So like we can't go around chopping people's heads off, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I remember the question that I was going to do. It wasn't really pertaining to the first question, but it was more of your personal view being from Canada, and your close relations to Canada. What is your guys' current opinion from an American point of view, the push for independence among the different provinces?
Oh, that's an interesting one. So I'd say that it's more interesting coming from Newfoundland, especially. Like Quebec was never a country. Alberta, this is just like reactionary from a very small percentage of the Albertan population who just want to like go kiss up to Trump, right? So the only like province I would say actually has a valid reason for independence would be Newfoundland and Labrador. So Newfoundland was an independent dominion from 1907 to 1933. Um, After the First World War, Newfoundland lost a lot of soldiers because the British liked using them as meat shields, and there was no working population. So we never had a 20s economic boom. We just had Great Depression for like
Mm,
up until World War II. So in 1933, the people of Newfoundland stormed the government building and basically said, you know, we're poor. Let's rejoin Britain. Like the government's just like failing. So we rejoined Britain, and in World War II, the United States put a lot of like investment in Newfoundland, and we were really rich, or not really rich, but like comparatively speaking to our previous history. And there was a vote to join, or to stay with Britain or to stay independent, and Stay Independent won, but Britain didn't like that. So they had a second referendum without consulting the government, where it was Stay Independent or Join Canada. And Join Canada won by 1%. So it was 51% for Canada and 49 for stay independent. And that whole referendum was very controversial. It took place in 1948. So Newfoundland still has a very like separate culture, and there's a lot of drama between Newfoundland and Canada. You know, there was a lot of problems, especially in Labrador and with Quebec. So Quebec wants a part of Labrador, and we made a lot of bad deals with Quebec. So Quebec controls a lot of the industry there, and the federal government controls a lot of the resources here. So yeah, but honestly, I feel like we're all better together, and kind of like leaving Canada would be stupid for any province because we all rely on each other so much, and it would be dumb with especially with the threats from the United States coming that splitting up like would just mean certain doom for Canada.
Yeah. Um,
Like even though that Newfoundland is the province that should like wants independence the most, it probably wants it the least, and I just think that says a lot.
it's very interesting, and it's really cool to see how much you know about Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
I'm, I mean, a lot of the old people talk about that, so,
Oh,
and there's a lot of old people here.
makes sense. Um, so in May 2023, Aspenia unified with Siku Fields to form the current kingdom. Is that correct?
No.
No.
So it was July 2nd, 2024, when the
Oh,
kingdom or
okay.
the lordship of Siku Field joined with the rest of Aspenia and became the kingdom of Aspenia and Siku
Okay.
Field. So Aspenia wasn't a thing prior to that; it was just Siku Field.
Oh, okay.
And that is like that. Um, yeah, because like Siku Field was already a micronation before that I kind of forgot about. So I figured I didn't want to like forget about it, so I added it as like a joint thing.
Okay.
But no one lives there.
Okay. Um, so when that was added into Aspenia, or the union happened, um, you said that happened on the 2nd of
2nd of July.
July with the independence. Does that? I assume there's really no, you know, identity or leadership changes at that point, right?
What do you mean?
Um, so there was no like when the two of them unified,
Oh,
there was no change in the
so
identity or operations to the kingdom.
no, I was the lady of Siku Field. I had like a little table out there as like a border crossing.
Mhm.
I was planning to like build a temporary lean-to there as like a palace. I had a chair down there as my throne. It was just like it was just for fun. But it was an absolute monarchy.
Okay.
So, and then like Espenia's different. Like Espenia is like my um final project. Like I did the constitution, I did everything.
Yeah.
Like my parents agreed to it and suggested things for it, but like I like kind of like founded it.
Mhm.
So I've done a lot of micronations that like kind of like bloop. So like this is my like I forget what it's called, but like my best one, you
Oh,
know. So it's like my final product.
nice. How does nobility play a role in your micronation?
Oh yeah, so that's easy. So we have three provinces. So we have the uh, Upper Aspenia, which is actually more south and down the brook to um, the rest of Aspenia. So it's just called Upper Aspenia because to confuse people.
Yeah.
Um, we have Casamalden, and we have the Fuchie of Nowhere, or is it the Duchy? So Nowhere acts like a province, but it has just a different name. So the uncle, like my uncle, so the brother to the queen, is the Fook of Nowhere, spelt Duke. And Nowhere is a duchy, spelt Fuchie. Um, and he just like is control of Nowhere. He's subservient to the queen, but all of the people in Nowhere are subservient to him, which just so happens to be just him, unless his girlfriend visits and his kids visit. And his kids are like the Marquess and Earl of Nowhere. And then Casa Molden is ruled by its only inhabitant. He wanted to have special autonomy for Casa Molden because he wasn't certain about joining Aspenia, but we need him because he's our permanent population. Because, as I said, our population is seasonal, so they come live there in the summer, but then they leave, and you need to live there for at least 6 months to have a permanent population, and you need to have a permanent population to be a country.
Right.
So we granted him special autonomous powers, and we figured that would just become the template. So Upper Spenia is where everyone else lives, and it used to have a noble in 2024, but we just haven't appointed one yet because we haven't had really a need to. And its previous noble went and moved to British Columbia.
Very nice. So you talked about the early government with plans of being a full democracy. So we won't go over that again. Now this is an interesting one. You have 4 levels of criminal offenses in Aspenia: minor, medium, major, and ugly wig.
Yes.
Can you describe what each of those mean and what they would look like in a court?
Yeah, of course. So our judicial system is thought out. So it used to not be, but I figured, hey, we should flesh this out just in case we actually have to do anything. And so we have 4 levels of crimes you can commit. There's level 1, which is just like very low level crimes, and it's just like very low level punishment. You get dunked in the river because our population's mostly like they work on the river, so you get just unexpected, unwanted push into the water off the boat. And then our second level of punishment. Hold on, I'm just gonna pull up the Constitution real quick. Yeah, so our second level is a moderate offense. So it's an unexpected dunk in the river, and you get slightly sharpened sticks thrown at you if you are especially bad, and you have to eat something gross.
Oh.
Our third level is a major offense, and it's to be determined by the king or queen, but it could be severe, could be as severe as a banishment. And our fourth level is the highest level of punishment, and it's if you bring an ugly wig into the country, because ugly wigs are banned, because we are staunch believers that in history textbooks you should be able to see a person's real hair, the founding fathers of the United States, that they are all wearing white powder wigs. That's a big no. That's the worst kind of ugly wig. No. Right? So if we ever have judges, because we've had people propose a court system, if we ever have judges, they cannot wear those ugly wigs. None of that, right? And if you bring one into the country, you can wear it, but we will set it on fire while it's on your head.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, all of our claims, you get to have 24 hours before punishment is enacted to dispute your claim. And if you don't challenge it, then your punishment will be enacted. This year, we had a citizen do several crimes. I'm just going to pull up the list because I had to make a list. So he committed treason by bringing a lobster into Aspenia, which is against the law because myself and the queen are deathly allergic to shellfish. Even the smell of it could make our throats really itchy and stuff. So,
wow.
And then he did it again. Did it twice. He did attempted murder by launching several small projectiles, just things he found on the desk, at the other presidential candidate because he was running for president, and he wanted to assassinate his competitors. So he threw things at the other person in the debate, which you can actually see on one of our news broadcasts.
Oh.
He did domestic terrorism by taking our battery that powers the whole country and trying to charge it with the wrong kind of cord, which fried the battery and just disabled our entire power grid. And he did conspiracy against the crown by threatening words, suggesting the Hispanian monarchy will one day be toppled, threatens to melt the Legos of the prince, and tried to undermine the Hispanian electoral process. So his punishment was to pay a large bag of Skittles to the prince, myself, and the person he tried to assassinate. And he must give chocolate to the queen. And he must be unexpectedly dunked in the river in a body of water, or unexpectedly dumped into a body of water on 5 separate occasions because he did 5 crimes. And that was the punishments that the queen and I agreed on. He has yet to fulfill any of these demands, and if he does not fulfill them, we will banish him up to nowhere by moving his trailer that he lives in up to nowhere, which he would hate because he has an interesting relationship with the leader of nowhere. They're friends, but like frenemies.
Oh, very nice. So you talked about Aspenia being located on crown land and in legal limbo. How do you assert sovereignty on this land? And have you faced any formal responses or resistances from Canadian authorities?
So we actually contacted the MHA and MP of our region in Newfoundland. So the way that provincial politics works is that there's a provincial parliament where each district of Newfoundland gets a representative called an MHA to the provincial parliament, and then there's a federal parliament where each larger district called a riding of Newfoundland gets to be represented in the federal parliament. So which is the MP. Right. So we got our MHA to have a conversation with us because one of his children works for my parents, and we talked to him, and he wholeheartedly agreed with Espenia's message and wanted like still supports us to this day. We have a holiday named after him.
Mm.
And he signed a declaration of like Espenian sovereignty, and we are looking to get an actual lawyer to grant the land to us with like him with his support. But that's a later problem and
Oh,
might not happen.
okay.
And we got the MP to sign a similar document, although we didn't have like a conversation with him about it. He just signed it. Like I just asked him to sign it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure." He just like skimmed over what it said. I don't think he cared.
I hope this one's right, because I'm gonna look silly if this one's wrong. But
Oh no.
um, so Aspenia participated in the now famous Great Pickle War
Yes.
against Nowhere, eventually becoming allies and now members of the
They are
empire.
part of us. Yeah.
What was the conflict really about, and how did it lead to mutual respect and a peace treaty?
Okay. So on Espenia's founding day, the way that we convinced the Lord of Casamolden to join Espenia is that my uncle would not be included because they're friends, but like he kind of finds him annoying sometimes because like they live right next to each other. So he's like they cannot be part of us, and so we decided that they can't, right, and that they must be like our enemy. So the Poobah of Nowhere decided this was offensive and created Nowhere on the same day as Espenia as like a rival nation. And over the course of the summer, he planted like little conspiracy leaflets saying like, "Oh, monarchy got you down. Join our resistance." And I destroyed all of them but one to save in the archives. He like kept trying to like convince people to like go against the crown. He would do all this stuff. We shot him with water guns a bunch. Our president, our newly elected president, one of his campaign promises was to launch pickles at him. Thus, the Pickle War name came from. He never did. Our president's whole thing is that he makes a bunch of promises and never completes them. That's like his whole deal.
Great president.
And yeah, a very like average politician,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do anything like bad, so better than a lot of politicians.
Can't complain about that.
Um, and eventually the queen got sick of this. He was claiming all of Casa Malden. Said he wanted all of it. He wanted the whole world, right? This was ridiculous. So, we decided that when his kids came over for a visit, um, they would stay with us, and that he couldn't see them unless he surrendered. So we held them hostage.
Oh,
And that's when he agreed on a ceasefire. And then on New Year's, the same year, on New Year's Eve, we signed an official peace treaty ending the Pickle War and like having a bunch of agreements to like respect each other and all that. And we kind of like had like a Cold War between like in the autumn after the ceasefire, but before the peace treaty, and all that was fine and dandy. There were some like flare-ups in the spring and winter that could have resulted in like worsening relations, but it never did. And eventually he decided that he wanted to join Aspenia, and so we just waited for a good day to like, negotiate it. And now he is the Fook of the Duchy of Nowhere.
nice. That was a very interesting story.
Yeah.
um, excuse me. Yeah, we pretty much went over all these questions, so I will. Oh, last before the devil's advocate question, I did actually want to ask
Mhm.
about your holidays. So I see
Mhm.
that you have on your micro wiki you have three, which is Raven Fest, Baby Day, and Aspenia Day. Um, can you tell me about those?
Yeah, so in November of 2024, España passed the Holidays Act, which created 4 holidays. The micro-wiki is outdated.
Yeah.
I gotta update that. So the first one is España Day, and it's celebrated on July 2nd when España was founded. I got a feast of our national food, which is a spagoot, which is just spaghetti without the meat.
Oh.
Um, because it's a lot of work cooking meat. Sometimes you just want to have spaghetti without putting in all the effort, so you
Yeah,
make spagoot.
makes sense.
Um, and our national dessert of freezies, cause and you call them like otter pops or popsicles there, but it's like
Okay.
it's like a tube of plastic with like
Oh, okay.
sugar
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, our next holiday is Chris Tibbs Day, which celebrates the MHA who recognized Hispania. And it's on August 5th. And then there's Baby Day. So the first uh, kid, or like the first person to be born with an Espanian citizenship, so like the first like fully Espanian person, was born the same day as the Queen's cat was born. So it's Baby Day on October 1st.
Okay.
And and there's Ravenfest, which takes place at the end of the summer, and is a big like it's a bunch of different challenges and games and stuff, and it's supposed to last a week. But it's only been done once since we couldn't do it this summer due to technical difficulties. But last summer it's only a day, but it's going to be a week next time. Um, and it's like with games and feasts and challenges and all that. Um, so yeah, and it's
Nice.
meant to like celebrate a good summer and like the good ones that are still to come.
Nice. I like little pieces of culture like that where you can tell what people really value within their micronation. I mean, for example, Haskaria has a bunch of our own holidays. Trying to get to it real quick so I can tell you.
Yeah. Aspenia really values just like, being chill, not caring about like what people do with their lives as long as they don't harm anyone,
Yeah.
and no capitalism, no money. We don't have any money.
Yeah, I did see about that. I forgot to ask about that too. I see that you have a trade and barter system that
Yeah.
um how do you
So
go about that?
the government owns all of the land in Aspenia. Um and Sorry. So the government owns all of the land that's in Aspenia. So you can't buy land because
Yeah.
a lot of our citizens like don't stay the whole time, so wouldn't make sense for them to own land.
Yeah.
And we don't want to have an economy because, for one, it doesn't really make sense with such a low population, and two, money tends to be the source of most of humanity's problems. So we don't have one. If you want to use a currency instead of trading like my cool rock for your cool stick, you can use Skittles as an informal currency, but no official currency is done. We've never had like a reason to enact a currency or like a reason to use the barter system, but it is there, like if you want to do any sort of like market. Um, we also do external trade in Canadian dollars just because you have to. So there's that. We do accept like Canadian dollars as like currency if you really want to use some.
Yeah. Um. But yeah. When I was talking about the cultural parts, um, I was gonna tell you that Haskaria has a festival of renewal, where every year in February, the first week of February, we have a week of festivals and stuff for renewal where we clean out our houses. It's like the spring cleaning. We clean out our houses, get rid of unwanted items, burn written lists of past burdens or, sins, and communal bonfires and all that kind of stuff. It's very,
I like that. It ties into the whole Phoenix theme.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's time to kind of get into the devil's advocate question.
Okay.
Um so Aspenia is led by a hereditary monarchy. So, what would you say to critics who would argue that hereditary titles concentrate power unfairly and don't reflect the will of the people? Why do you believe monarchy is the best system for your nation today?
So it's the best system for Aspenia, but nowhere else. I strongly believe that democracy should be in every country on earth except Aspenia. And the reason why Aspenia is a monarchy is just because the way it works. So it'd be hard to have a presidential system that is like absolute, like and have a full democracy because we have a low population, um, and because a lot of the citizens or residents don't live there for many years in a row. So we only recently enacted a policy that residents have to live in Hispania for 2 summers in a row in order to become citizens, when previously it was just 1 summer. So it just wouldn't make sense. Also, like my parents want to own the land, and if they aren't even in charge of the country that's meant to get them to own the land, it wouldn't make sense. Um, and it does reflect the will of the people because we do take the president's suggestions seriously if he were to make suggestions. And we are like, we want to be friends with all of our citizens. We don't want any animosity. So if someone's upset, then it'll get fixed. So that's the reason it's still a monarchy.
Very nice.
If in the future it were to need to become a republic or a constitutional monarchy, I don't think there'd be a problem with that, but that'd be a far, far future thing.
Yeah. Um, One more question, and it's another devil's advocate question: is um, Aspenia, while a monarchy, um, the heir can write bills but not pass them, and jokes like the ugly wig law are part of the Constitution. Some might say this creates a system where humor overshadows accountability or democratic balance. How do you respond to critics who would question whether Aspenia's government is too whimsical or, again, monarch centric to function seriously?
So, I would just show them like the proof that Espana does actually function. You know, we live there for 4 months of the year. We have elections. We have a newspaper. We have a fully functioning nation. It does work, and we have a large for micronation standards population of people that like make it work. So I would say just based on evidence, it works. Also, I mean, it's whimsical, but why not? I don't understand micronations that don't put a little humor into it. That's kind of the whole point. Sealand was made off of a joke. So was Molossia and all of the micronations everyone cares so much about. So, of course. And also, we take ugly wigs very seriously. Um, so it is a scourge on this country, on this world. And if you do bring one in there, we are serious. We will light it on fire on your head. You can stand in the brook while we do it, but we will do it. Go join like the comedy club. Like you'll do great there.
That would be a good question to ask. How has the League of Independent Nations improved your nation?
So it like hasn't it hasn't done like a lot. So it's given us a lot of friends, a lot of more publicity. We've and like a big part of micronationalism would be making friends, and
Right.
that's good. But when it comes strictly politically, it hasn't really affected anything.
Right.
Aspenia would still run the same. It's given me some ideas for like how to like run Aspenia, but like if we didn't join the LIN, the end product would be the same.
Right.
It's just for fun, It's nice to have a community of people that support you, and it's nice to like feel like Aspenia isn't just like a niche thing.
Right.
So, the like micronational communities and organizations are nice, but they aren't necessary. And like if you can't find one to join, or if you don't want to be like on a social media platform, like that's okay. Like you don't have to be in one to be a micronation.
Right. I guess the final thing that I will say before I end the episode is what is your what do you say to the new micronationalist who wants to join? What would your advice be, and what would the I guess what is a mistake that you have had in the past that you and your family as micronational leaders would give to a new micronational leader to start their nation?
Yeah, so don't base your micronation off of other micronations or macronations. Base it off of what is best for you. Everyone says to like you have to have a currency, you have to have this and this and this and do all of this. But Aspenia is possibly the weirdest micronation ever. But we are recognized by our local politicians. We function like a micronation. We have a real population, and yet we are not a conventional micronation. So don't do what is conventional. Do what is like best for your situation. If you need to have a currency, have a currency. But if it doesn't make sense, don't do it. If you don't want to have a website, you don't need a website, Like you don't need all of these things. You don't even need a flag. It's not about the like looking like a nation. It's about being a nation, if that makes sense.
I've always said that a nation is not I've always said that a nation is the people, the country is the land, and the state is the government. That's how I've
Yeah.
always described it. So
It's more important to like have an identity and a goal than to have a pretty flag and pretty borders.
right. So do you have anything else that you would like to tell the people? Any places that people can go to if they want to join your micronation?
So we don't offer citizenships for people who haven't lived here long enough. But if you want to support the Kingdom of Aspenia and Siku Field, then you can check out our YouTube channel, which you can put a card for right there. And you can watch our videos, like them, comment, subscribe, basic stuff. And yeah, if you want to support Aspenia, then just watch our stuff, and stick along for the ride.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for talking about your micronation. It was a fun episode.
No problem. Live long and prosper. Bye.
If you enjoyed that episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and turn on the notifications to receive notifications when we upload. Thank you for enjoying this episode of Haskaria. Micronational Interviews. See you in the next episode.